Welcome to the Life Begins at Midlife podcast, where we pop the champagne to celebrate the unexplored joys and endless adventures that await us in the midlife. Flipping the script on what it means to hit those fabulous 40s, 50s and beyond. Because here, we don't believe in midlife crises, only midlife revolutions. Reminding you that the only thing we're letting go of at midlife is the notion that it's all downhill from here. Nope, we're here to climb higher, dream bigger, and laugh louder. Each week, we'll dive into the myths, share the truths, and unlock the secrets to making the midlife years your best years yet. From rediscovering lost passions to embarking on new adventures, we're covering it all. Expect candid conversations with inspiring guests who've turned their midlife years into their most dynamic chapter yet. We're talking to everyone from entrepreneurs who've launched successful startups from their kitchen tables to adventurers who decided age is just a number when it comes to climbing mountains or sailing the seas. So if you've ever found yourself pondering, is this all there is? Or you're just eager to embrace the richness of midlife with both arms wide open, then you, my friend, are in the right place. Grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and let's show the world that life doesn't just begin at 20, it begins again at midlife. And remember, in the Life Begins at Midlife podcast, the only rule is to live confidently, love unconditionally, and laugh uncontrollably. Let's get started. So hello and welcome to today's episode of Life Begins at Midlife. Today I've got Vivienne Joy in the studio to speak to us, and she's going to be sharing her journey through her midlife and tell us a little bit more about herself. So welcome, Vivienne. Lovely to have you here today.
Hi, Jackie. Thank you for having me. My whole journey to midlife. Wow, we could be here for hours. It feels like a long journey.
Gosh, yeah, I think if we all had to share it, every step by step, it would be quite a journey. But I'm sure we can find a few highlights, and maybe even there might be some lowlights as well. But just the things that we feel we want to be sharing with the listeners today.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's interesting because what even is midlife? Like, I'm 51, so if I'm in the middle of my life, it means I'm going to live to 102, which will be absolutely incredible, given my mum died at 67 and my dad at 74. So I'll have done well. So I think my midlife has probably gone by now. It's a weird phrase, isn't it, really? And yet we all understand what it means. Yeah.
I think, from my perspective, it's more along the lines of, you get to a point, I got to a point in my life where I was like, started reviewing things and having a look to see, this is what I've been doing up until now. It's been great, but something's not quite where it needs to be. And there's something more. At that point in time, my girls had grown up to, they didn't need me as much anymore. And it was, who am I? And, I think we get...
Day, Jackie. This is basically what I do for a living. So most of my clients that come towards me are in this age genre, slightly younger sometimes. So anywhere from about 42, I think that starts to set in of, maybe they've had children, done the career thing, met the partner, bought the house, done all the things we're supposed to do. And they're kind of sitting thinking, well, now what? Like, what, I'm not fulfilled. What's going on? What's next? I think we spend most of our younger years striving for getting the best job, promotion, getting up the ladder, getting on the housing, all those things, finding the right person. And I think there comes a time when we realize that is probably not the bit that is going to give us satisfaction. I've got a saying that I've stolen from somewhere, but I don't know who, that is success without fulfillment is failure. I think it might be Tony Robbins, but yeah, from somebody like that. And I know because I've had several businesses myself that have been very successful, that I've been left cold and kind of that's not really doing it for me either, until I found coaching. So coaching changed everything for me. And I was in a part of my life where I realized that I was gay. So that's where the table turned. So I was 41, very happily married to a man, and had been we've been together for nearly 12 years, and realised that actually I was having feelings for women in a way that wasn't just normal friendship and, fun and camaraderie and kind of, women supporting women sort of stuff. And so that kind of rocked my life a lot. So I believe, some people believed I was having a midlife crisis at that time. I remember my ex-husband, as he is now, obviously, 10 years ago, saying, "You're just having a midlife crisis. Can't you buy a Porsche like everybody else?" I thought, I've already had a Porsche, I've already been and done that. I had a boat, bought the Porsche, had all the businesses, built the houses, done, all the stuff outside of myself. And I think, like you say, there comes a time in your life where you kind of go inwards because the stuff outside isn't enough. There's something, it's not fulfilling whatever the gap is with inside. So I had a recruitment business at the time. And I had a client who wanted me to help them recruit, and they ran NLP training. And they said, oh, we could pay you, but why don't you come on this course? And I was single. It was in London. I thought, I can go out with my friends. I can put it through the business. that literally, tax man's listening. That's exactly what I did. And I went on this 2-day course, and the rest, as I say, is history. Kind of £20,000 later, I was an NLP trainer. So I went through NLP practitioner, master practitioner, hypnotherapist, master coach to be trainer. So now what I mainly do is help people who want to start their fulfilling business, their kind of legacy business, that thing that fills them up. It's not just about selling stuff. It's about serving and feeling worthy in the world. That's self-worth, as I said on the show note that I sent to you. And so many a time that is that they want to give back, they want to help other people, especially if we've had a journey, which most people have by the time they get to our age, Jackie, is, they've had a whole load of stuff and we've all had different experiences. And we want to help other people through that, or we want to help put that right in some way. Often that breakthrough and breakdown, they become our business. They become who we are. So now I train and certify deep structure NLP coaches and help them to help other people change their lives. So the ripple effect is very strong, very rewarding. And if you'd have told me this 30 years ago about any of my life, Jackie, I'd have said, not a chance, you're crazy. I'll be married to a woman, coaching people and certifying people to coach other people with 4 dogs living in Nottingham. I'd said that's and not even owning my own house, because for a long time I property developed. So yeah, I'd have said you were nuts. So yeah, things can change very, very quickly, and do, don't they? Whether we like it or not sometimes.
And add to that working from home, because who would have thought 30 years ago that would be a thing? We'd all thought we had to, you either a house mum, housewife, person that worked in the home, or you went out somewhere to go and work. Who would have thought we could run successful businesses from the comfort of our own space?
Yeah, I know. And it's now normal. And Zoom, I know before the dreaded C, the dreaded COVID, I'd already put my whole business online because I was trying to see if I could live anywhere in the world. So I was trying that laptop lifestyle, which did not suit me, I can tell you. I like to have a base, but you try these things, don't you? So when the dreaded C word arrived and we all had to go into lockdown, all my clients were panicking. I'd already got mine online, and all of a sudden I'd gone from my bigger challenge was trying to get people to come on Zoom and Teams, and they were all on there. I was like, thank you. It was like a godsend for me. I was like, the biggest struggle I had was getting women to sort the tech out. Essentially, quite a lot of the people I coach are women, and then they were all there. I was like, oh, it's easy now for me. So yeah, that was my best year ever in business, everybody else was sunbathing and drinking cocktails in the day, and I was helping people transform and pivot their businesses online. It was exhausting. I asked my wife, I was exhausted. And actually, I think this year has been a bit of a calm down from that, a bit of a come down. Now everybody's settling back into life. So yeah, for now I'm able to take a bit of a step back and just breathe, have a few holidays, going on holiday in a few weeks. So yes, that's the goal. You've got to enjoy life, haven't you, Jackie?
Absolutely. And I think, as you say, this year definitely feels a little bit more like people are venturing out there again. I know that they've been out and about prior to, to this, after all the lockdowns and things, but it seems to be more people are yearning for that in-person connection. They were quite happy to be online, and I don't mind it. I like being online as well, but there is that craving to actually go and rub shoulders with some like-minded humans. I wouldn't just say just any humans out there, because it's...
Yeah, we don't rub shoulders with any humans, just the right humans.
Absolutely.
We don't rub shoulders like strangers anymore. That's made us all a bit, you're a bit close in the supermarket. We're a bit like that still, aren't we? But absolutely. Yeah, I'm actually speaking at an event this weekend, actually. First time I've been on a stage for 4 years, and I used to do a lot of public speaking. I used to run big events myself, so first time I've been on a physical stage for that, and it's interesting printing things off to take with me. I'm like, oh gosh, this has been everything's on online, isn't it? We've got QR codes and links and things, where it's like, we have real people in the room, they want something to hold. So it's been quite interesting to remember what it's all about. It's
a whole different dynamic. Hey, you got to think about the water, the food, the temperature temperature of the room and all those things that we tend to forget
I'm not
about.
running the event, I'm speaking at it, luckily, so that's
But
someone
still,
else.
there's still lots of things to think about. What am I wearing? Am I wearing just something at the top, or am I wearing full with an
a
extra
bra,
mattress?
I've got a bra on.
Absolutely. Not just my fluffy slippers or something like that. You actually got to put some proper shoes on him.
Yeah, I definitely went out in my Ugg slippers during lockdown. There was no two ways about that. Yeah, go collect the shopping from the supermarket in my Ugg slippers without even batting an eyelid. Yeah. That's me in a nutshell, realistically. So helping people change their lives when they realise there is something more, a bit like you said at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we know there's something more, or we want there to be, but we don't really know what that is. Most people don't know. They've got no clarity over who they are, even, let alone what they should be doing, could be doing, or is going to really fill their hearts, fill a bank balance, make them, that income and that impact, which is what we really want. We want to change the world. Although I did listen to an interview last week with a guy who said that this is the youngest you'll ever be. And I thought, oh, that's a scary thought. That's true. And he said, and in 100 years' time, nobody will remember you, really. Everybody that you know now are worrying about be dead. God, that is a really powerful thing to say, though. We spend a lot of time worrying about what everybody else thinks and what we should be doing and could be doing, rather than doing what fills us up.
And that ties in with what you were saying about, people get to this point in their lives where they start thinking that they want to be doing something else or have that inclination that there's something more to their life, but they're so caught up in that pattern, those labels, those, what will everybody else think if all of a sudden I decide to, do something different or explore something different. They're so caught up in their, like you said, house, car, two children kind of environment. And, they almost need their permission to say it is okay to step out and explore something different if that's what you want. Stay there. If you don't, we're not going to judge you.
It happens in business as well. People get stuck in businesses. Like they get stuck in businesses. I coach a lot of people who have started a business because there was a need for it, or they thought there was a need for it, or they started a business because they knew they could do it. Like there's lots of VAs, administrators, where they were doing that in a company, and obviously they got furloughed or decided they weren't going to do that hour each way commute every day, stuff like that. And so they don't really know what they're good at. So they can't begin to have a business that fills them up. So they're just really kind of fishing around. They don't know who they are, what they're really, really good at. So yeah, it's important. So that self-actualization is a really important part of life. That self-discovery, understanding who we are and what we're here for is what we're searching for. Most people. Some people are happy with doing the same job for 30 years and having a holiday a year, aren't they? And going down the pub on a Friday. Got quite a simple life. I'm quite jealous of those people. I've never been one of those people. Always searching for the next thing and the next thing. And yeah, the dopamine hit of the next thing.
Absolutely. It's almost like the ADHD brain and that kind of that, or maybe let's call it the entrepreneurial brain, maybe, because I think a lot of us are, that are that way inclined, have got that yearning to have something to strive for. And like you say, there's nothing wrong with being the other way, where you're quite happy to, because we need both types of people to make the world go round. If we were all entrepreneurial, we wouldn't have, the balance.
And some people aren't entrepreneurial, but they were thrown into that during lockdown. They kind of think, oh, well, I'll have to start my own business. And they go on a course and they think, oh, yeah, I can do this. So there's lots of very disappointed, skint people out there that have tried really hard, and then they kind of lose their self-belief and their self-worth. Therefore, getting a job is hard because they don't believe in themselves for that either. So definitely seeing, the hangover of lockdown 2020, essentially. There's definitely a lot of that going on. People who've been sold into, oh, you can build this business, you can create this, it's easy, just do this course and off you go. And there's lots of people spent, 10 grand and got nothing apart from a lot of hopeless trying. Because it isn't that easy, is it? Having your own business is not that easy. If anybody tells you it is, it's not. It's easier if you know who you are and what you're good at, and you get someone to help you. That's the same with everything, isn't it? Like if you wanted to be a golf pro, you'd get a golf pro to teach you how to be a golf pro. But for some reason in business, especially women, sorry guys, you tend to get the help when you need it. But women, we tend to go, no, I'll do it. I'll need to learn. I'm sure I can find it in a book or a free thing somewhere.
On YouTube, somewhere.
Find a way. I have to do it on my own. I can't ask for help. I'm not worthy of affording help, actually, is what they're really thinking to themselves. I'd rather spend the money on the kids or the house or the holiday or the partner, or rather than actually going and getting that help. So, it's a tricky one. And then when you do decide you want help, how do you find the right person? Because there's so many people out there just robbing you blind, taking your money and not doing, I see that all day long. It really is quite frightening. Of course, we all get tarred with the same brush, even if we're not those people, because trust is a big deal now. So, yeah, it's an interesting old world we've got at the moment. The only way is up, though, really. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll be on our way up.
Well, I keep hoping that, the people that have jumped on the bandwagon just because I think it's an easy way of making money, that they will eventually realize that, it's not a sustainable way of doing business if going to be promising people that you can't deliver. And I'm hoping that people will see that the ones that have been in there in here for in the race for the long haul are the ones that are actually speaking the truth and practicing what they preach.
Absolutely. I think if you've been in business, well, I don't know what the exact stats are, but there's something like only 95% of new businesses fail. I think that's one of the stats. So that means if you have survived, well done, you're in the 5%. But there's a lot of people just about surviving. They're certainly not, thriving. They're probably striving to kind of get into that space where they're earning as much as they were in their job or more. So yeah, it's I remember somebody saying to me, it's all right for you. You can have hair appointments when you like, and you can go shopping when you fancy it, and you can have the day off. I'm like, well, I can, but no one else is doing the business development, the sales, the marketing, the accounts, the admin or the service delivery, the kind of any queries, the tax return. No one's doing that for me, so I can have lots of time off, but I don't have a business. So it's really tricky, because when you start a business, you want that time freedom. That's the whole point. That is the freedom to spend time with the kids or with the partner, or have a Friday afternoon off or whatever. Only work 9 till 3. I don't know, whatever the goal is. But the trouble is, it's so consuming to run a business. And I've never met anybody with a successful business that will tell you otherwise, because you're not just there doing the job, you're creating the job. So all that other time is taken creating the job. And people don't really see or understand that. And of course, when you then charge your prices, they don't see what you're worth behind all of that either. So yeah, it's a tricky one. If you're doing well in business, then well done. That's all I can tell you, because it's hard going.
Yeah, because people will say, "Oh yeah, I spend 10 hours a week with clients," and everyone thinks that that's the only time you're working, but. That's the time you're doing what you enjoy doing, possibly, and the rest of the time you're doing what needs to be done in your business to keep it going.
Yeah, the trick is learning marketing techniques that you feel aligned with and that feel authentic and genuine, because otherwise it's a horrible, icky, treacly place to be, like wading through having to do stuff you don't like. But there is a marketing strategy and a business model that is available and right for every person. The trouble is they don't find that out. They go and try other people's on, and they're not quite right for them. So yeah. How long have you been in business, Jackie?
Me? Well, I've been coaching since 2015, so that's like what, I don't know how. And then I had my own craft business before that, and a few other businesses. So I've been self-employed for 24 years in total. So
gosh, yes, I'm 23. We're not far behind each other then, definitely. I certified as an NLP trainer in 2015. It was clearly a good year for both of us then.
Must be.
That was the year we got our shit together, obviously.
Absolutely, yeah. We're probably our midlife transformation. Or
maybe, yeah.
But yeah, it was also a combination of a few events for me that brought me into coaching. So it's always, but yeah, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't, even with the ups and downs. I think we all go through those stages where you think, well, maybe I should just go and get a job because it might just be easier to do that. But
I couldn't do it. I couldn't even be like a shelf stacker in a supermarket, because I'd be like arranging the beans and I'd be like, get off, they're perfect, don't touch them. I don't think it would go well.
Definitely don't you think that if we put these beans on that side of the shelf that they will sell better, and if we put the label slightly to the left that they might be more attractive? Yeah, I can just imagine us revamping the whole store. But I mean,
I have done that job as well, ironically. So yeah, I definitely would. I definitely would.
Absolutely. So you want to share a little bit about your midlife journey, things that have happened that might inspire people to realize that, we all go through things in our life that, are that we are working through or have worked through that have brought us to where we are today.
Yeah, I mean, are we allowed to use the menopause word?
Yeah, we
Because
can talk about anything. There's no words that are barred in this podcast.
I think a lot of people think midlife is menopause, women especially, but they are two different things really. But menopause for me, I knew was going to start early because I remember my mum going through it early. My mum had me late in life, and I remember her being hot flushes and all the windows open and my dad complaining it was cold, like pretty much for about 10 years. And for me, it came quite out of the blue when I was talking on stage. And all of a sudden, I had what can only be described as what felt like a panic attack because the hot flush came from my feet and I'd never experienced it before. Bear in mind, I teach people to confidently speak on stage. I spend my whole life talking. There was certainly nothing about me that was nervous at this. It was a small gig. It was nice and friendly. It was in a beautiful health spa. It was a lovely, lovely thing. And all of a sudden I found myself like literally I was trying to talk through this while it was going on. Luckily, I knew my subject well. And all of a sudden felt so sick that I had to excuse myself and go left side, and I was violently ill. And I was like, what just happened? And I went back. I mean, I'm such a martyr. I went back to the, superwoman, go back, not excusing myself, carried on the talk, and, made my apologies to the staff. But I went home thinking, what the hell just happened there? Did I have a panic attack? What's that about? That's not me. That's not who I am. It really shook me to the core to think, of my identity of somebody that was confident and somebody that is having a panic attack. But then I had a few more of them and started to realize, these are those hot flush things. So yeah, that changed quite a lot for me. I had to be quite careful about what I was doing. But, I think for a lot of people that I coach, midlife is all about finding what they're going to do for the rest of life. And that was the same for me, most definitely the same for me. At that time, I had a 6-figure recruitment business, and I, was helping people to change their lives. But I very stupidly made myself into the situation where I was the MD and I was just overseeing things, and I had a team of people doing the things that I'd loved. And it wasn't until one day I kind of stepped back and thought, oh, yeah, the reason you don't love this anymore is you're not talking to candidates, you're not talking to people about their life, you're just approving invoices and paying people and managing people's holidays and, when people are not performing. And so you've become a manager, and that's not really what you wanted to do. So it was quite a big deal to strip that back and start again. And I remember a few of my friends saying, what, you're going to just stop your business? You're not even going to sell it? No, I'm not. Just going to stop it and do something different. So coaching came just at the right time for me. And that's basically what I did. So yeah, midlife was a really big deal for me. So I changed my whole career. I changed my sexuality, essentially. Divorced my husband, and that was quite a hard thing to do. Not more so because I actually loved him. So it was really quite hard. And I'd never really before that seen myself without him. So we had to sell up houses. We had businesses together. We had 2 dogs. So it was I lost his family. My family had passed already by the time I was 30. So pretty much all of them had gone by then. So to lose that again was quite tricky. And start again, literally start again, financially, emotionally, mentally, but with quite a lot of confusion about, am I bisexual? Am I straight? Am I gay? Am I what am I? I'm like very confusing time of life for me. So the next 10 years, the next 5 years especially, was to sort that out, to work out who I was. And if I hadn't done the kind of quite high level personal development stuff I'd done, I'm not really sure where I'd be now. And I think a lot of depression or anxiety and, all of the things we hear are due to those things. And I wonder now how much of that was also perimenopause, because that brain fog and that kind of the feelings change, don't they? The feelings completely change.
Absolutely. So if there's one thing that you could leave as a parting piece of wisdom for people that are going through maybe something similar to what you went through 10 years ago, what would you suggest for them?
Well, obviously, Ducky, I'm going to get some bloody help. That's what I'm saying. Learning yourself is the most valuable thing you can do, most definitely. Learning your belief system, your values in life, what you really enjoy, who you are when you're enjoying it, and really understanding your identity and what part that played in your life is the most powerful work you can do. And I watch people now going through that, literally transforming their lives. And so, you can have an existence, or you can have, a satisfied life and a fulfilled life where you actually like yourself. Because the self-talk will tell you everything. If you're telling yourself a whole load of rubbish, then your life will feel rubbish. It's quite straightforward. And probably come from a belief system you created when you were 7. So make sure that your beliefs are real, that they're yours, and that they line up to the kind of life you want, because otherwise they'll keep you stuck and keep you feeling a bit rubbish, to say the least. So my advice is learn yourself. Find ways of learning who you are, what you need, what you want, and what you're supposed to do in the world, and get that fulfillment.
And get the help out there, that and there's no shame in putting your hand up to say, I need help, because it's something that we all need sometime or other in our lives.
The most successful people in the world do that. If you look at people like Richard Branson, he quite honestly says, I'm not a brilliant person. I just hire amazing people. So he gets that help, hiring help, whether they're people that work for you or work to help you in some way. For some reason, the culture of the UK is that, we've failed, or we're no good, we're not good enough, or but it's not true. We can't do something we haven't learned to do, can we?
100%. Anyway. Well, it's been lovely speaking with you today. I'm so glad we managed to get you onto the podcast, and looking forward to maybe having another conversation with you at some other point about the rest of your journey, or something else that we can think that will be relevant to the listeners.
Thank you. It'd be lovely. Thank you for having me, Jackie.
As we wrap up another episode here at Life Begins at Midlife, we want to take a moment to extend a heartfelt thank you to our sponsor, Jackie Bourne, for Purpose Unleashed. Jackie's commitment to empowering individuals on their journey of self-discovery and transformation truly aligns with the spirit of our show. Whether you're navigating the challenges of midlife, seeking clarity on your next steps, or simply looking to live a more fulfilled life, Purpose Unleashed offers the guidance, tools, and support you need to turn your aspirations into reality. For those of you feeling stuck or at a crossroads, remember, it's never too late to redefine your path and embrace the life you've always dreamed of. Visit Purpose Unleashed website to discover how you can start your transformative journey today. Let Jackie be your guide to a more vibrant, purpose-driven life. You can find this link to the website in the show notes below. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in and sharing your time with us. Remember, every day is a new opportunity to grow, to love, and to make a difference. Until next time, keep striving, keep dreaming, and keep listening.